Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we leave Cocos Keeling Island for the final leg of our sail towards Mauritius. We are Pierre, Lisa, and our free crew member Tiller.
Hello and ahoy sailors! I'm going to start this video with the end. That means we're at the end of a 10-day passage from Cocos Island to Mauritius, and I'm going to show you some of our time in Cocos. We spent 2 weeks there waiting for weather. It was really kind of unexpected. We actually hadn't planned to stop there because we didn't think we could with the dog because it's Australian. But the rally said as long as the dog stayed on board, that'd be fine. And for those who want to travel with pets, you do have to be willing to keep your pet on board for long periods of time. With our dog, we have a nice boat she can run around in. It's big enough, and she can swim, so she gets her exercise swimming. But the other problem was Luma, because Luma with a Philippine passport couldn't do the e-visa that's quick and easy to do and just takes a few minutes. And she had trouble getting into Australia just to do a transit. It took her 3 weeks. And so when they made the application, they said they wanted her to go for biometrics again. Obviously impossible in the middle of the ocean. And the rally intervened, and that was fabulous. I guess maybe they could use her biometrics previously, but she ended up getting a visa, and we stopped in Cocos. So we're going to show you that and show you about this passage that's been a bit of a challenging passage. I'd say it's up there with our passage to Gambier is one of the more challenging passages we've had in terms of wave action coming from different directions, high winds, fickle weather, and changeable, and lots of sail changes. It's been a lot of work, and it's tiring, and we're looking forward to not rocking back and forth anymore and getting some sleep.
This video will be the final leg of our trip across the Indian Ocean after our fast departure from the Lombok Passage in Indonesia. We stopped in Cocos Island, where we had a fabulous time doing some water sports and enjoying the beautiful waters around this atoll as we showed in our last video. We found the perfect piece of beach debris that we could use to make a biotrek sign, and we left our mark leaving a biotrek sign with the rest of the signs under the shelter where the barbecue is located in Direction Island. Then we were ready to leave, and when we go on long ocean passages, we always take down the lazy bag so that we can have a full view of the mainsail. It's helpful when you're taking reefs at night. That's Great Circle just behind us, but it's a little hard to catch them on the video with all these waves. So the winds are up and down, up to 20 and past 20 knots. So we've just rolled the Gennaker and put out our Genoa. And that allows us to go a little more south and more towards course. The first day out was quite rough. It was hard to walk in the boat. Brian was on watch when the Gennaker blew up, so Pierre and I didn't see it. He said it just started to rip along the luff. Pierre and I ran out to have a look, and as that happened, we could see the rip now moving horizontally, and the sail was soon in shreds. Okay, so the challenge was getting it down because some of it had gone in the water, and the winds were fairly high, so you don't want to be thrown overboard. The easiest solution was to open the forward locker where we have the generator and just shove the sail in there. So that's what we did, and we got it all put away. This head sail is our workhorse sail. We've used it so much. It's the sail we originally had since we crossed the Atlantic when the boat was new, and we've really used it a lot. It's made of a thick material. We can go up to 25 apparent wind. We definitely weren't anywhere near that, so we think that what happened is it just gave out from fatigue. Perhaps some of the threading was too sunburnt, and unfortunately it gave away on day 2, and we still had another week to go at sea without our favorite sail. All right, Chiller, she wants to know what's going on, what all the excitement is. All right, so the plan is to put up the Cody, our red sail. The risk with putting up this sail is that it's only good until 15 apparent, and we were getting close to that sometimes. So we would risk having that sail blow out if we didn't keep a careful watch on it.
Get all the ropes in order. Now that we've got the sail back up.
The wind was really shifting, and we were getting close to the limit of apparent wind, so we had to do some hand steering of the autopilot. That is, helping it to make sure it stayed within the range every time there was a wind shift. On day 3, we were going more directly downwind, and so we could deploy our symmetric spinnaker. So this involves getting the 2 sheets and the 2 guys organized and making sure that all the ropes are in the right place.
Okay, we're about to deploy the spinnaker, and Pierre's checking everything's in order. Always nervous before it goes up. I'm a nervous Nelly.
As soon as the spinnaker is up, we get the net jib up. So this is a device that was, I guess, used for solo racers to make sure that they never had an hourglass formation around the forestay. If you watched our last video, Migno had that and had to cut the sail away, which means going up the mast. Not a fun thing to think about at sea. And so this is really a really nice contraption, especially when you're doing short-handed sailing. And if put up properly, it totally ensures that the spinnaker cannot get tangled around the forestay. With the spinnaker up, we could now change course and go more directly towards our next waypoint. Tiller likes nestling into some cushions when we're at sea, either that or the beanbag.
So you can tell by the way I'm dressed with a coat that it's getting a little colder out. And we just passing another boat. He called me up on the VHF to have a chat. He's a solo sailor, sailing all the way from Indonesia to here. So that's a pretty long sail, and yeah, nice to have a little chat with someone. I told him you might see him in South Africa. He's going to go to Réunion and then to Madagascar. Right, it's almost 2400 Universal Time, or 6 in the morning, our boat time, and it's been a rough night. Rough, not so much the waves. I mean, there are waves, but the wind has been going back and forth, so constantly have to be on top of it. The autopilot's on there, but have to be helping it, changing directions. Otherwise, we're getting wild swings and we can't stay on course, and the waves will be banging the boat. But with course adjustments, it's been not too bad, but takes full attention. No time to really read a book or do anything during night watch. So yeah, it's so nice that the sun's coming up now and we can see something outside. It's been shifting between actually 110 and 145. It's coming down a little now, but back and forth, and then the speed goes up a bit, but it's mostly the wind shift, not the change in speed. Just had it switched from 129 to 160.
And by clicking, we've been able to bring it like it was going, we were going way too upwind. And now we're going the wrong direction. Now, if we're going to stay at the wrong direction, we're going to have to... It was going to be a day of lots of major wind shifts. And when you have a major wind shift, you either need to adjust the sails or adjust the course so that the sails don't flap, or when we're flying the Code D so the apparent wind does not go up too high. With crew new to sailing into our boat, it's essential to teach, changing heading to play the wind shifts, taking into account our desired course, if the wind shift is transient or not, which we use by looking at the history of the wind pattern, and the waves. Basically, it's important to know how to depower the boat. It's easier to do that by adjusting the autopilot, because the electric winches we need for our sheets can be dangerous, especially with inexperienced crew, to the right feel, the right sound of the electric winches for each of the ropes. And mistakes with electric winches can be dangerous, as we showed in a previous episode, or costly. Just, try to keep it from going above 90. And I'll tell you another thing you got to be very careful about. That's the standby mode, right there. If you push that by mistake, you need to know your heading in your head. So if you push standby by mistake, you can run outside and reset.
Set it back down.
There you go. I am cleaning grabber pieces. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's a total wind shift. From the chit-chat on WhatsApp, we knew that it was going to be Dominique's birthday, Dominique from Fou de Bassan, and we thought we'd swing by to say hello. They had left Cocos Islands a couple days before us, so they'd already been at sea for a week. The waves were pretty big. It was blowing over 20 knots, so we had 2 reefs in the main and the Genoa out, and we're still going pretty fast. Like us, they had taken more of a southerly route across the Indian Ocean, and as we approached Fou de Bassan, we came from above. We took some videos, then we bared off, and we wanted to have some videos on their port side while they were into the sun, but unfortunately we just passed them a little bit too fast. But we have some beautiful film of their boat as we passed by. And they also took some videos of our boat.
Side by side our faces down. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Fou de Bassan is an Allure 52, which is a monohull, an aluminum monohull with an retractable keel, also made by Grand Large Yachting. Fou de Bassan was going 8 to 9 knots, which is really impressive for a 52-foot monohull. The name of the boat is for a type of seabird, a gannet, which is a type of seabird with huge wings that are adapted for crossing oceans.
Us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. You and I, we got it. We don't need no more. Even in the hard time, you and I can weather any storm.
here are the pictures that Dominique gave me that they took of Biotrek as we passed.
Gravel road, I've been asked to slow down. Fireplace, do you know how? Piles of paper, my desk is out. Who will care for the world now? Rest with me, close to curtains, brew some herbal tea. Reach out for me, take my hand and lead even when I disagree. Oh, how I love when it rains outside, and it's okay to slow the ride. Discover books I forget about, and who care for the world now? Rest with me, close the curtains, brew some herbal tea. Reach out for me, take my hand and lead even when I disagree. Rest with me, close the curtains, brew some herbal tea. Reach out for me, oh, and take my hand and lead even when I disagree. Rest with me, close the curtain, brew some herbal tea. Reach out for me, and take my hand and lead even when I disagree.
At this point, we're getting close to destination and we really just want to get there, so we put up the spinnaker again, even though the wind angle wasn't quite right. And then finally we had to take it down and put up the Genoa because the winds were just a little too strong for the Code D. We missed our Jenniker that blew up on day 2.
It's up!
We haven't had it happen on this boat, but on other boats we've had the sock jam at the top, so it's important not to pull it up too high. And then the cords need to be taken back over to the cleat on the windward side.
Ryan, move that over here.
Day 7, another problem with the sail. The tension cord for the Code D broke, meaning it couldn't be rolled and it had to come down on deck. The tension cord is the furling cable inside the luff of the sail. If it's not tight, that sail cannot be rolled. And when it's broken, it absolutely cannot be tight, and the sail cannot be rolled. It was all hands on deck.
Just like we were before, with a sail. When you wear, I'm going to drop it slower this time. Go on a trampoline and take it down. Hold on. Bring it your waist up. All even in here, right here. Bring it all here. Pull. Because I have an issue. Yeah, you have 2 issues.
It was only at this time that we loosened the sheets so that we'd be able to get the sail completely stored away.
Okay, Lisa, go release the sheet. You can put the sheet on the starboard side.
Okay. All right, so we got the sail down without excessive drama. I'm supposed to lay on it so it doesn't blow away.
Taking down a broken sail on deck can pose significant dangers, especially in windy conditions when the sail could billow up and cause injury or entanglement of a crew member that could be thrown overboard. And also, the process of securing and stowing the sail can divert crew's attention from navigation. One always needs to be keeping an eye on the boat while we're dealing with situations such as this at sea.
Okay, Twitter, we can unsnap you. Oh, hold on. We can unsnap you. You can go outside now. You can go outside. Come on out. Alright. We want to see what's happening?
Whenever we have maneuvers such as taking down that sail, we always tie the dog inside. She's very curious. She'd love to watch what's going on. And she's always tied up, but she would be in the way. So as soon as we're finished, then she can come and have a look.
Even see the sun. Okay, so Pierre, you say there was a green flash?
Yep.
Maybe I'll be able to blow it up to see it.
I wasn't standing up high enough to see the flash above the wave, and also the GoPro really isn't a high enough magnification to see it.
So an easy night, just the Genoa after our Cody bit the dust. Bon appetit, everybody. We're having leftovers.
Thanks for making dinner.
It's kind of rough out there. And what's the wind doing here?
12-foot waves coming from multiple directions. So once you add the east wave with the south wave, sometimes you get a peak of 20 odd feet, which makes it interesting. And we're trying to go as far down as possible without using the spinnaker, which prevents us from going above 150 right now with just a general out. And wind is 25, 26, 27 with gusts up to 32 right now. So
Gusts up to 32.
yeah, so with two reefs we're really comfortable, apart from the wave actions.
I don't call it comfortable, but there's the history. It's max of 32 up there.
It's our last night on this 10-day passage from Cocos Island to Mauritius. Actually, it's not the night, it's the morning. The sun is not yet up, but we definitely have a lot of light from the rising sun and from the moon that's setting. And it's not been the easiest passage. We've had quite variable weather, lots of waves from lots of different directions. It's nice to arrive. It's nice to arrive with these long passages, and we should be there about midday. We had a day of no wind yesterday, which at first was a nice break, but we didn't catch any fish, so very disappointing. I had the fishing rod out all day, but we didn't even see any flying fish, and we didn't see any birds, so that wasn't a good sign. And I don't think the dog smells land yet. She's not acting like she knows we're going to arrive. When she smells land, she knows it's going to be over soon. She's just chilling out there right now. She kind of follows me around the boat when I'm
in the morning, and yeah, she'd like to go for a walk, I think, or go for a swim to get a bit of exercise, as we would also after a passage like that. I try to do a bit of exercise during night watch to keep me awake, but it's not the same as on land. Most of the exercise is just keeping our balance when the boat's rocking. Anyways, the waves are pretty much calmed in the same direction, not so bad this morning. And it's a beautiful morning. This is one of the kind of morning watches that's just fabulous. By myself, reflecting on life and what we're going to do in the future, where we're going to go. And it's nice to have these peaceful times. No phone in the hand, not looking at internet, just enjoying nature and being out here. It's fabulous. We're gonna be taking down the mainsail and putting up the spinnaker because there's not a lot of wind and we're going dead downwind, and we really want to get there. Diagnosed it in the engine room, simply a pin that came out, something that needs to be put on the checklist, I guess. But it's been too rough for him to fix it down there in the engine room way back in a corner. So we're waiting to port, so that's what he's rigged up for the time being, to keep the Traveler from moving.
We did have our trip with the Traveler rigged up like this, making it very difficult to jibe because the Traveler broke when the seas were rough about halfway through our trip. Getting close to port after our passage across the vast Indian Ocean is a moment of pure joy. After days of being surrounded by nothing but water, it's a delight to see people doing kite and wingboard as we pass the north coast of Mauritius. And then it was time to take down the sails, and at this point in our voyage, the three of us have taken down the spinnaker down to a fine art. I release the windward corner of the spinnaker while Brian pulls down in the sack, Pierre steers the boat, and then we all get the spinnaker on deck and put away. We describe our technique for taking down the spinnaker in a previous video as shown here. Was seasick for most of the voyage, but finally was able to spend some time on deck.
What's this for? That's to prevent what happened to Nino. Yeah, remember what happened to Nino? It's a net jib. It's to prevent what happened to Nino, where the sail gets all wrapped.
I don't want the sailing to end.
Arriving at destination after crossing an ocean is a reminder of the marvels of exploration and the beauty of the world awaiting to be discovered.
Okay,
It's locked open. You want it forward?
so that
It's tight.
the reef doesn't come out.
Yeah.
We took the mainsail down when we were going downwind. We didn't take the time to turn around to head into the wind, just heading towards port, getting the mainsail down, and getting ready to arrive.
Coming down.
This is beautiful.
Back in civilization.
Reminds me of being in Singapore. No beach, Stll, but restaurants. Look at this. Look at this.
She's excited. Look at that. Look at her eyes all sparkling. Look at her sparkly eyes. Oh, if you could see them with all that fur. As we arrived in port, the waterfront restaurants and cafes were a welcoming sight. Fire truck docked alongside the restaurants, which also served as a customs dock, and there were tantalizing aromas mingling with the chatter of patrons enjoying their time in the waterfront's edge. All of these sights and sounds were beckoning us to explore the culture and ambience of Mauritius. Our journey's end was marked by the beginning of a new cultural exploration. We'd really appreciate it if you subscribe and give us a like. And if you like these videos, consider a donation to the Alliance to Cure. This is a foundation that we support. They're trying to find a cure for the disease of cerebral cavernous malformation. And you can find more information on the links in the comments below and also on our website.